UK or Switzerland or the most innovative markets didn't create 1 paise per second. And it got created in India. That's your advantage because you are faced with this kind of behavior. The India diversity, and a lot of times we say this platitude that politicians say unity in diversity and all that. But just forget all that politics and think from a business perspective. You and we have so many segments that we can think about that exist in this country, culturally, languages, so many tiers of cities, education levels, whatnot. Right? So we have huge amount of segmentation possible, and the markets are not just in Pune, Mumbai, or Delhi or Bangalore. There's huge markets that are booming outside of these cities and even within these cities. So if we start to think of the segmentation opportunities, you then find that there's learning that a country that's reasonably uniform, where the difference between the highest earning person and the lowest earning person, or the language from the north of the country to the south of the country doesn't change much, right? Think of the marketer there and think of the marketer here who is faced with this kind of diversity. Who is learning more and who is able to think of more ideas? Finally, obviously, I touched upon the India cost structure. Right? How do you leverage and create, build for India cost models? And how do you take them to the rest of the world to break their business models? How do you then take a nano cost structure or a 1 paise per second cost structure and win in other markets? And the role of shared and public infrastructure. The PCO is a great example. It happened in India. It was a big driver towards telecom penetration. Cyber cafes next, and we are actually innovating with telepresence, which is a very high end of video conferencing as public rooms. Right? Instead of enterprises or business customers having to build, high definition video conferencing for 1 crore rupees or more each. We are creating rooms in hotels and saying use it per hour, right? Pay by the hour. So innovation in terms of shared infrastructure, public, pay per use kind of infrastructure, which happens in India because of the constraints that we have, is great innovation. We have now taken it and we are now creating similar rooms across the world, and others are copying it now. And every other telecom provider is copying the same concept because they find, adoption is not going to happen only through private ownership of infrastructure. Right? You have to create public infrastructure that people can share. So these are great, innovations that are coming out of India that you can all be part of and then, take them forward. So quickly to sum up, the world is changing very fast, and think of marketplaces and think of businesses not as traditional chains or processes or systems to more of live ecosystems where multiple entities are dealing with each other in a very dynamic manner. And finally, into such a world, apply the India advantage that you guys have unique access to in the next 10 years. Thank you very much for your attention. In the spirit of the interactive 2.0 world that we're in, I really would like to spend a couple of minutes. I know it will further delay your lunchtime, but if anyone has any comments or any questions, I'd be happy to have a quick dialogue.
Girl and a boy, they cannot come travel. Now it is becoming very common. They see each other virtually and they say yes or no. It is becoming a business opportunity. I am told there are the cyber cafes available with that kind of a facility, and they see each other and say yes or no. It's becoming a business opportunity in that way.
Yeah, it's no longer limited to
50 paisa Ulta plan, that is. So sir, it can also be like copied. So how telecommunication companies cope up with this kind of thing?
No, it's a good question. That you must all remember is that there is you can't create a USP and hide it, right? The moment you you create a price or create a value proposition and sell to the customer, everyone else can copy it. There are few things you can do to delay the adoption of the same thing by customer, by other competitors. For example, in the telecom industry, changing a pricing plan in the traditional networks is a huge effort. It requires a lot of IT and commercial and regulatory approvals. So you can, if you thought of a great idea, you can say that for 2 to 3 months it will be difficult for someone to radically change the price. If you radically change, if you just cut by 10%, then anyone else can repeat it.